I'm Ryan Knight from the Black Dahlia Murder. I play rhythm and lead guitar at times. And we have a new album coming out called Servitude, comes out September 27th on Metal Blade Records.
Beautiful, Ryan. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Yes, yes, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So, as you say, the Black Dahlia Murder release your 10th studio album, Servitude, on September 27th, bro. So, how you feeling about it?
Good, we've been living with this thing for almost a year, and as the time ticks down, it feels like eternity. We're ready for this thing to come out, and we really think everybody's going to enjoy it.
So, how do you go with something like that, mate? Like, it's been finished for about a year, like you say. So, do you think about things you could have done differently or could have changed with it? Or do you put it to bed in that period and just sort of move on?
Sometimes, yeah, for sure. I feel like this time, at least on my end, no, I feel pretty solid about it. I feel like for me, like every record, like I never give anything I do 100. I would never score it like it's 100%, 100
Yeah.
score. But like this one, I'm pretty happy with. Pretty happy with. So yeah, no regrets for me on this one.
Wait, so can you dive into it a bit more from a musical point of view for us and tell us what you were going for with it?
Yeah, I mean, this is the first record with Brian, who formerly was the other guitar player. He's moved over to vocals, so this is huge record because of that. So first very obvious change. This is also the first record that me and Brandon Ellis, the second guitar player, who also plays lead and rhythm. First album we've been on together, even though me and Brandon have known each other, uh, quite a long time now. And let's see. And this is the first record where everyone's gonna hear basically the guys that have written for Black Dahlia Murder. So me or Brian, myself, and Brandon. This is the first record where you hear all of us writing on one record. So it's maybe you should, maybe you could say this is the most diverse record. Three big things that make this record kind of like maybe special.
So to date, you've released the singles Mammoth's Hand and Aftermath, mate. So would you say that overall they're a good sonic representation of what to expect?
Yeah, I think Aftermath we put it out first. It's just kind of got that sort of classic, iconic, uh, whatever you want to say. It's just got that classic BDM sound, and we kind of wanted. Brian wrote that song, and we kind of just felt like that was a good first representation of this record, just because has the classic sound. We wanted to like kind of reassure people, like, hey, we're still the same band, still gonna sound primarily like this, and felt like that was a good first single to release. Mammoth's Hand is a song I wrote kind of like during COVID for kind of like a completely different project from BDM. And I would probably say it's definitely one of our most different songs, has some stuff in it the band's never done before. When I had that song demoed out, I showed it to Brian. I was like, "Hey, what do you think about this track? It's kind of different, but and Brian listened to it and liked it, so we decided to use it. So, and yeah, they both had really good reaction. So we're very happy with that.
Wait. So as mentioned, this is your 10th studio album, mate. So would you say that by now Black Dahlia Murder has found your own set sound, or are you still experimenting to a degree?
Hmm. I would definitely say, yeah, we definitely know what our sound is at this point for sure. And I feel like, every time we go to write a new record, we're pretty much all honing in for the most part on that core sound. But yeah, we're always trying to throw in some new influences and like some fresh ideas. And that at this point, on album 10, that's kind of the challenge, to keep our core sound while kind of evolving the band, I guess you would say, bit by bit.
So you sort of touched on this a bit before, bro, but this is your first album back with the band since 2015's album Abysmal. So it had to be tough coming back under those circumstances. But how was the whole process of reintegrating with the band for you?
Um, I gotta say it's been pretty natural. Brian, Max, and Alan I was in a band with those guys prior for, quite some time. So I've played a lot of shows with them. I've written uh quite a few records with them. So I feel pretty at home with those guys. So, I mean, I guess probably the hardest part about rejoining was that most of the parts I play in all the old material, most of them are Brian's parts now, because Brandon plays all my parts from when I joined the band. So that was kind of a challenge because as I was learning all the songs, I'm kind of in my subconscious remembering my old parts, which are not my parts anymore. But other than that, it's been pretty natural, I guess. Yeah, it feels just like coming back home.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, Brian has moved from guitar to vocals for this album. So I know you can't speak for him, but from your point of view, mate, like how did he handle the transition?
I think he's done really well. I mean, it's Brian's got like the biggest mountain to climb, over any of us. I mean, he basically, he's the front man now. So, you're the guy that's got to like, obviously you got to talk to the crowd. Everyone's eyes are on you. You're kind of up there not holding a guitar anymore. So you gotta kind of figure out something to do. Uh, and then just, the technique of it. And, which I think when people hear, especially this full album, they're going to be pretty surprised because I think he did a killer job. But yeah, it's like a role that he's doing great at. We've seen a lot of progress with him over the last couple years that he's been doing it now. And I think, it's going to be just like Trevor. You're going to see him evolve over time and over, as we do more albums. So yeah.
Yeah. And it has having him because the vocals are a big part of any band, mate. So has it changed or altered the sound drastically too much having him in there singing?
So Brian's voice it's different than Trevor's, but it's weird. At times they're very similar. Like, I mean, I've listened to this new record a lot of times since I've been living with it now for a while. And it's weird. Like sometimes I'll have it on in the background and I'll almost for like a split second, I'm like, oh yeah, this is Brian.
Wow.
So there's times where I feel like he sounds very similar to Trevor, more so kind of like on the early Black Dahlia albums. But also Brian very much, he's got his own thing going. He's definitely not trying, Brian knows he's not Trevor. He knows, he's developing, he's doing his own thing. He's very much keeping the lyrics sort of true to what the band does. The band tells like a lot of stories like horror or science fiction or fantasy or all types of different topics. So he's keeping, the lyrics pretty true to what we do. But overall, yeah, I mean, he's doing his own thing.
Yeah, cool. This lineup had your first show in Detroit in October of 2022, mate. So that must have been a pretty emotional show for all of yous.
Yeah, that one was definitely I mean, yeah, that's the first time like we kind of all united on stage without Trevor, and that was like a definitely like a heavy, heavy night. I will say, the vibe of the crowd, I mean, it was absolutely packed and sold out that night, and just the vibe of the crowd was just hard to explain. I feel like everybody in the building could feel it. You could tell that everyone was kind of feeling the loss of Trevor, but at the same time, like sort of like rooting us on as a band, and it it was bittersweet, I guess you would say. That was also like personally for me, like my first show back, so there was a bit of nervousness going on there, but yeah, overall, that was a really good send off, and just yeah, great show.
I suppose having a crowd reaction like that too, like if anyone had any doubts about continuing, a crowd reaction like that would have just set him back straight away and given the impetus, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I think like once we played that show, and then once we did a couple tours the following year, in 2023, I feel like that was sort of like a period, looking back now of like, we could have, we said, yeah, we're going to continue on. But I mean, like realistic, I think it was very important for us to play that show and do those couple tours because I feel like after all that, we were really solid. Like, yeah, we can do this.
Now, Servitude comes out on September the 27th, mate. So, what's Black Dahlia Murder got planned for the rest of 2024 and beyond?
Yeah, here in just about a month, we're about to embark on a US and Canadian tour. It's going to be us, Dying Fetus, Spite, Angel Maker, and Vomit fourth. And it should be a rager. I feel like there's a lot of different sort of metal represented there. I mean, you got us, but then you got like legends like Dying Fetus that have been around. Then you got like Angel Maker and Spite. They're kind of, they're younger bands. Hopefully they'll bring in like a younger audience. Maybe they'll even bring in some people that don't even know who we are. You're always trying to get new fans. And then Vomit Fourth is really cool. They're another like sort of younger band, and they kind of throw it back old school. So there's just like a lot of different things happening, which hopefully will draw a vast array of people to the show. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, thanks very much for your time today, mate. Servitude is out September 27th. The boys will be hitting the road, so catch them when you can near you soon.
Yes, yes. And yeah, thanks for the interview. Thanks for having me.
Riders birthright. Oh no!